And so we gather simply, gently, quietly, on a Lenten journey and pilgrimage. And we know the end. The end is the empty tomb. The end is life. The end is salvation. The end is hope. And the end is joy. We must never lose sight of the end, or we become trapped in what is unhealthy and unworthy of us as daughters and sons of God. I want to say something a little bit more about our attitude entering into Lent, something about our gospel, and then about the Lenten question, and a couple thoughts from Pope Francis, and with an extraordinary challenge from Saint John Paul II. Our attitude entering into Lent. For those in the spiritual world, it's called, what is your disposition? How do you find yourself as you present yourself in this situation? We know that Lent is a word that means springtime, and if you were in the snow on Friday, you're not so sure. And it'll be 70 degrees today and 30 tomorrow and whatever happens. But in all seriousness, what is our disposition? How do we find ourselves? For some, it's going to be a memory of Lent that is unpleasant. It's all about what you give up and what you do or what you don't do. And you have to gut it out. And this is what we have to do. And it can bring up memories that are negative and less than helpful. What is Lent? Lent's an invitation and grace. Lent's an opportunity for us to enter again deeply and profoundly into the loving relationship with our God. What more could we be looking forward to? We all know that we shape our experience. Psychologists will tell us that we have a lot to do with this. So we've probably all at some point had the experience that we're going to go somewhere, let's say to a party, and we really don't want to go, and we're dreading it, and we hate it, and it's going to be awful. And you know what? You're right, it was awful. Nice play of the cards. And it could be the exact same events, but we say, I'm looking forward to this. I know I'm going to have a couple encounters with some folks. This is going to be great. And you know what? The same set of events turn and look very different. We get to shape our reality. Reality is real and encountered by us. But what we bring to it in grace, what we bring to it from our own experience is profound and can often shape what we experience. Lent is not the Catholic's version of New Year's, where you take resolutions and you got to lift weights now. It's the spiritual weightlifting time. The heavy lifting's been done. The tomb is empty. That doesn't mean we should not enter in profoundly and deeply, but it is about the tree of life, not simply something that is masochistic, something that can be endured, and I've got finished through it. What a sad way, what a lacking in grace way to enter Lent. If it's about a journey to see a very dear friend that you have not seen for a long time, and you have to sacrifice to get there, the sacrifice is no problem. We're happy to do it, to enjoy it even because we know where it leads. It leads to personal encounter. It leads to communion. It leads to community. Lent is no different. It is a journey to be embraced, to be welcomed in grace. In our gospel, the first words that you may not even remember are the most important. Filled with the Holy Spirit. The story unfolds. Filled with the Holy Spirit. What is the gospel about? It really is about the temptation to somehow trick Jesus into believing that the love and care he knows from Father and Trinity isn't real. If you're the Son of God, if this relationship is real, Jesus already knows that he will be fed and that he will feed others because of the intimacy of Father and Son. It's true, and there's no need to worry about it. And Jesus already knows that power has been given. And he doesn't have to put up little stick men to see, are you going to protect me? If are the devil's questions. And Jesus' responses are is. God is loving us. God is risen. God is saving us. And so it's in that context you get to the question. This is the question everybody wants to ask. What are you giving up for Lent? You know, and you can do something Herculean and give up beer and soda and ice cream and go to the gym every day. But I'm not convinced that's going to get you any closer to where you need to be when the tomb is empty on that Easter morning. So whatever we do, it has to get us closer to that. I'm hoping you don't really think that if you gave up ice cream, that God really cares that on a Wednesday of the second week of Lent, you decide to have ice cream. It's about then knowing we're missing something. We're longing for something and realizing that the only place the desire ultimately can be fulfilled is in that loving relationship with our God. That's the purpose. The purpose is clarity of intention, that we know what we need. And we need to be purified. Yes, journeying through the cross to get there. When I said similar words at Layla Blakefield on Ash Wednesday, the boys heard, Father said we don't have to give anything up, which I heard multiple times in the hallway. They were asleep for the entire time, trust me. But they woke up for that part, and then we're immediately back sleeping. We have one witness here, so it's okay. So that's what they heard. I'm hoping you hear something slightly different than that. But it's not primarily about giving up, unless it's linked to something. It's about our choice in reconciliation for our hearts, for the relationship we most desire, which is completely and ultimately, penultimately fulfilled from one side. And so I won't lead them all, but Pope Francis, you've probably seen it, gives some ideas. With the question, what do you want to fast for this Lent? Fast from hurting words and say kind words. What would our communities look like if we fasted from hurting words and said kind words? What if we fasted from sadness and were filled with gratitude? Yes, there's struggle. Yes, there's burden. Yes, there's the cross. I would argue that the cross calls us to gratitude, that it calls us to healing. How about this one? Fast from anger and be filled with patience. Fast from pessimism and be filled with hope. How about this one? Fast from complaints and contemplate simplicity. Fast from grudges, be reconciled. Maybe fast from words and be silent so you can listen. Last I said I wanted to say something of Pope John Paul II. You may or may not recall this, but his apostolic motto in Latin was totus tuus. Totus, everything, completely, entirely, that I am, that I'll do, and that I ever was, tuus, yours. May or may not have succeeded in do that, may or may not be your favorite pope. Irrelevant. What an incredible call to self, to church, to community. Totus tuus. Everything is yours. It's the suscipe of St. Ignatius. Take, Lord, receive. All is yours. The problem is we spend a whole lot of time with our feet in totus meum. Everything is mine. It really is about how I feel about this. I'm so sorry. It really is about what I think. It really is about what I like. And I'll be quiet while you're talking so I can interrupt and tell you what's most important. Anyway, we all know the journey. And we get stuck on things that are generally good. But it becomes totus meum. Lent is truly about an invitation, a graced moment in our lives, the lives of our community, and the lives of our church, to move more and more clearly from totus meum to totus tuus. Welcome to Lent.